Hi, I'm the Rooted Librarian. My name is Kate. Welcome to my channel. I like to talk about things like bookish things, libraries, houseplants, video games, and other cozy type topics. So if that sounds good to you, come and hang out. And in this week's video, I'm going to be talking about my summer reading plans. And I decided, I think I got a little too excited to join not only one, but two different readathons this summer, and particularly for July. So I've got a lot of reading to do, and I figured I would talk about both of those readathons and the books that I've chosen for those readathons so far. And I think that's going to be about it for at least for now, for my summer reading plans. So the two readathons that I decided to join, the first one is the Tarot Readathon, which I found out from, let me look at my notes here. I found out about that from the content creator Stephanie Bookish, and it is hosted by two different content creators, Deja's Book World and Noelle 7 Pages, and I'll link all that information below. And the Tarot Readathon sounded really fun to me. And by the way, I've never really done a readathon. I think I've done some of the summer reading challenges at public libraries, but readathons, in case you're not familiar, are usually, they can be hosted by libraries, also hosted by bookish content creators in this case. There's different prompts and teams that you can join. And usually it takes place on Discord, or at least most of the readathons that I've heard about have a Discord. Get book recommendations for the prompts. You can talk to each other about the different books that you're reading. So it's a really fun thing. And I had not had a chance to join an actual readathon before. And the Tarot Readathon sounded really cool to me because I actually really like tarot. I have a couple of tarot decks, and I wouldn't say that I use tarot to make any major life decisions or anything like that, but I do like to pull a card every once in a while just to reflect, or maybe do a spread and get a different perspective on a situation or something like that. And also I think that the art for tarot decks, for some tarot decks, is quite beautiful. So Tarot Readathon sounded really fun to me, and I am using, see if you can see this, the Sasarai Bito Tarot by Stasia Burrington. Stasia Burrington is a local artist in the Pacific Northwest area. I think this deck is quite beautiful. So that's the deck that I'm using for the Tarot Readathon. And in addition to the Tarot Readathon, I remembered that the content creator Locked Booktition is hosting July Noir. And July Noir is part of a different readathon that, or it's part of the same readathon that the Locked Booktition hosts in the fall, which is called Blackoween. And Blackoween, basically, as I mentioned, happens in the fall, probably around October. It features, the prompts feature books that like mystery, thriller, horror that are written by Black authors. So that's Blackoween. And Locked Booktition decided to do a smaller version of that, which you can use the books that you read for July Noir as part of your Blackoween. I think there's a map that she created called Tulis Parish, and Tulis Parish has a bunch of different locations, I think like 6 to 7 locations, and each location has a prompt, or has 6 to 7 prompts. And if you finish those prompts, then you get to move along in the map, and the goal is to finish each location. So July Noir is a shorter version of that, and you can use whatever you do for July Noir for Blackoween. So that's really cool. So that also sounded fun to me, and I wanted to add more horror and thriller and mystery to my list for summer, so I figured I would join July Noir. Also, I want to read more horror and thriller written by Black authors, so I thought this would be a good one to join too. And let's get into the Tarot Readathon first. So the books that I've chosen for the Tarot Readathon so far it's only been about 2 weeks into July, and I think the Tarot Readathon only goes through July. So in the first week, so the prompts for this, basically what you do is you can pull a tarot card a week, and each tarot card has a prompt, a reading prompt associated with it. And you also can join a team. I've joined Team Pentacles, even though because I'm a Cancer sun, I probably should have joined Team Cups, because cups are associated with water signs astrologically. Pentacles are associated with earth signs. Wands are associated with fire signs. Swords are associated with air signs. Anyway, I'm a Cancer sun, but I'm also a Virgo moon. What are my top 3? Cancer sun, Virgo moon, Leo rising. So sometimes I identify with the other elements in my chart, and I decided to go with Team Pentacles. Also, I think Stephanie Bookish is one of the hosts for that team, and I'm familiar with that content creator, so I figured I would join that team. So far, the cards that I have pulled for that team, let's see here. So when I shuffled last week, 2 cards came out. I decided to just go with one, which is the 5 of Wands. And the 5 of Wands prompt, I believe, is a book featuring a conflict or competition. And I was already reading a book called Arcana Academy by Elise Kova. And I got that as an advanced reader copy, or an ARC, through NetGalley. And that one, actually, funnily enough, as the name would suggest, Arcana Academy, it has a tarot-based magic system. So kind of very apropos to the Tarot Readathon. And in that book, there's an academy, and there's a limited number of seats to kind of continue on in the academy. And so there's a bit of a competition in it. There's also conflict. I finished it last week. I think I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the tarot-based magic system. There was some good banter between the romantic leads. It's very much like a enemies to reluctant allies to lovers type of story. There were some things that I wish had gotten a little bit more time, like the main character Clara, her relationship with her sister. It was mostly in flashbacks, which I guess there's a reason for that. But anyway, without ruining things, I wish there had been a little bit more time spent on that. So there's a bit of a competition. There's definitely conflict. So anyway, I figured Arcana Academy would fit that prompt. And each week, each team gets a different, what's called a significator card. And it's just something that the facilitators pull for each team each week, where it's a significator card that is pulled from the tarot deck, and it has a certain prompt. And if you happen to read a book that you are reading for one of the tarot cards that you pulled that happens to match the prompt of the significator card, then you get to double up on your points. Anyway, so this week's significator card, I think last week's significator card was a book featuring an animal, which I didn't get a chance to read for that. But this week the prompt is for the significator card for Team Pentacles. There's a card, or the prompt is a book featuring a wise character, or a character that exhibits wisdom. And I also pulled for this week, so I finished Arcana Academy, and then this week I pulled Queen of Swords, which the prompt for that is a queendom or a matriarchy, I believe. And I was already, luckily, reading Can't Spell Treason Without T by Rebecca Thorne. And this one has an evil queen, or a very temperamental queen. And it also it's a sapphic romance. It has 2 very strong female leads, and they both have specialties that they are excellent at. And it's like the coziest, cutest thing ever. I'm probably also going to give this 5 stars. It's been a nice break in between reading some very intense books lately. So yeah, I think I have a soft spot for it. But yeah, this has a queendom. This has, I wouldn't say a matriarchy, I would say, kind of. And I don't know about a wise character yet. There's a few possibilities in here that I'm hoping I can double up on points, but we'll see. So yeah, that is the Tarot Readathon, or what I've read, or what I'm reading for the Tarot Readathon so far. And then let's talk about July Noir. So for July Noir, I chose the location Joe's Library in Toulouse Parish. And Joe's Library has, is it 6 prompts? So it goes like this. So you have to choose one book that features a historical reference, one book that is a crime fiction, one book written by an Indigenous man, one book written by a Black man, and one book that features a musical element, and then a free space. So those are the prompts. And for those prompts, for the first one, historical reference, I chose The Reformatory by Tananarive Due, which I've already finished. The historical reference is because the Reformatory is based on a real school, a real reform school, I think that was in the South, called the Dozier School for Boys, Dozier. And the Dozier School for Boys has had a horrible reputation for abuse and children going missing because children were sent there for very minor offenses, teens and children, right? So very young people. And so the reformatory is based on the Dozier School for Boys. In the book, I think it's called the Gracetown School for Boys. And there's a lot of horrible things that the headmaster and the teachers at the reformatory do to the boys that are sent to them through the court system. And anyway, it's horrible what they do. So the next prompt is a crime fiction. I chose King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby. And I finished, Razor Blade Tears by S.A. Cosby, I think in May, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. It's one of my favorites of the year. So I think S.A. Cosby is an auto-buy author for me. So I picked up King of Ashes and I figured that would fit the crime fiction prompt perfectly. So I'm excited. I think I'm probably gonna start this week. The next prompt is a book by an Indigenous man, and I actually picked an anthology. It is Never Whistle at Night, and I believe that the 2 editors, so it's edited by Shane Hawk and Theodore C. Van Alts Jr., and I picked a story called Behind Colin's Eyes by Shane Hawk, and I've already finished that as well. Luckily, the library where I work has, sorry, I'm looking at my notes here. The library where I work has Never Whistle at Night, so I was very quickly able to get access to that. And yeah, I enjoyed the story. I think I would give it like 3.5 stars, something like that. Although short stories in anthologies are kind of hard for me to rate. So, but yeah, I would say I kind of want to pick up the book again and read other stories in it too. The next prompt, I decided to combine the musical element with the prompt written by a Black man. And I chose the book Spin by Lamar Giles. And I have not read anything by this author yet, but I forgot their other book. If I can find it, I'll put it up here. But I'm intrigued by this author, and I figured I would give this one a try because it's based on Spin by Lamar Giles. Let me pull this up really quick because I want to be able to give a brief description. So pardon me while I look that up. Yes, so it features DJs and turntables. So I figured that had that musical element. It's also a mystery. It says here, when rising star Paris Secord, aka DJ Parsec, is found dead on her turntables, it sends the local music scene reeling. No one is feeling that grief more than her shunned pre-fame best friend Kaya and Parsec's chief groupie Fuse, 2 sworn enemies who happen to be the ones who discovered her body. So I figured that would be perfect for those 2 prompts. And I'm excited to read it. And luckily it was available through my library as an ebook, so I was able to snag it right away. For the free space for July Noir for Joe's Library, I am tentatively going with Immortal Dark by Tigist Girma. I'm saying it tentatively because I've had it on my list for a while. I was hoping to get to it this summer, so it'd be perfect for July Noir. But it is dark academia, and I'm very much a mood reader, so I might want to save it for fall. I'm gonna start reading it and just see how I feel. But anyway, the description for Immortal Dark, based on the author's website, so it follows orphaned heiress Kedan Adane, I believe it's Adane, who grew up far from the arcane society that she was born into, where human bloodlines gain power through vampire companionship. So I knew vampires were in this book. I wasn't sure exactly what role they played. So when her sister, Kedan's sister June, disappears, Kedan is convinced a vampire stole her, the very vampire bound to their family, the cruel yet captivating Susenyos Siged. So yeah, sounds interesting. I think it'll be a good read. I'm not sure if I'll totally be in the mood for dark academia now that I think about it for July, but anyway, I'm hoping to use that for the free space. We'll see how it goes. And if not, I will try to update y'all. We'll see about that. All right. Howdy. I managed to delete all of my outro content. So we're doing this again. I'm dressed differently. It's a whole new vibe. But yeah, so actually it worked out because I can show you the card that I pulled for this week for the Tarot Readathon. And this week I pulled the Fool. And I love this guy dancing in the wind with the flowers around him. Very fun. And the prompt for the Fool is to read a book by a new to you author. And since I was already reading Spin by Lamar Giles, which is not an author I've read before for July Noir, I figured I could double up and read that for this week's prompt. And I think I'm about 19% in. So yeah, still have a lot of the book to read. I hope that it still works. And the significator card for this week, I think, is the World card. I can't quite remember, but the prompt is read a book that has the vibes of your favorite season. So fall, spring, summer, winter. My favorite season is fall, and I feel like Spin might fit that because it's a crime fiction, and I feel like fall is really good for reading like thrillers and mysteries and horror. So it might work, we'll see. Anyway, so now we have the official end of the video. If you made it to the end, please leave me maybe a music emoji or a dancing emoji for Spin. And if you are reading any of the books or planning to read, or excuse me, if you've read any of the books or are planning to read any of the books that I've mentioned, please let me know what you thought down below. And I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.